You guys know the book I'm talking about. Just think about it. You're there laying in bed, or you're sitting on the couch, or even laying on the desk in your studio, and you glance over at the shelf and see it. Sitting there, collecting dust, untouched since the day it was picked up at Barnes & Noble's, or dropped on your doorstep by the man with the brown short shorts. There's that book that you knew you just had to get. That was the book that was gonna change everything. This was the book that was gonna help you finally start losing the weight. This was the book that was gonna finally teach you how to become a millionaire. Or this is the book that was finally gonna teach you how to read, so you could finally figure out what all those other books were trying to tell you. No, but seriously, how many of us have bought books with so much excitement, dreaming of how great our lives were gonna be after we finish the book, and then we never even read the first page? Or if we do, we get so busy with work and school, scrolling on Instagram or TikTok, or watching Netflix and YouTube, that eventually we put it back on the shelf after the first couple of chapters and completely forget about it. Well, that was me about 3 years ago. And here I am today, 200 books later, coming to you with the answer to your problem. And those of you who know me probably know what I'm about to say because I don't stop talking about it. Audiobooks have been an absolute game changer for me, allowing me to finally finish many of those books that I wanted to read. And while I'm not quite yet a millionaire or have six-pack abs, many of those books that I listened to actually helped me make some positive changes in my life. I just recently took a look at my listening time while preparing to make this video, and I just passed the 3,000 hours of listening mark in the Audible app, my app of choice, this past 3 years. So in this video, I'm going to give you my top 3 reasons why you should give audiobooks a try. Reason number 1, you can listen to audiobooks on the go. Whether you're commuting to work or school, doing chores around the house, or getting that workout in, audiobooks allow you the ability to both get things done and learn something new in the process. On my days off, I find many of the more menial or mindless tasks, especially housework, a lot more pleasant when I have a good book to listen to. Things like mowing the lawn, vacuuming around the house, doing laundry, washing the dishes, or walking the dog are often made more enjoyable when listening to an audiobook. And I found it's also a great way to motivate myself to do those tasks because I look forward to listening to a book while getting them done. One thing I do want to mention, while I'm a huge believer in audiobooks, I will admit that for purely learning purposes, sitting down, being able to focus your attention on a physical book is the better way to absorb information. But for most of us who have a full-time job or school and many other responsibilities, finding or making time to sit down and read is difficult. And I say this as someone who does not yet have kids. I cannot even imagine. So if you're like me and struggle to find time to sit down and read, audiobooks can become your best friend. Reason number 2, audiobooks are sometimes cheaper to buy. After doing some extensive and very scientific Google research, most physical books are around $10 to $20. With my Audible subscription, I pay about $23 a month, which gives me 2 credits or the equivalent of 2 books, making each book about $11.50 and access to their catalog of free books. So if the physical book is $20, $30, or $40, it only costs me 1 credit or about $11.50 for one audiobook. But if that's still a little too rich for your taste or budget, there are some other options that I've heard about. But to be completely honest, I don't have any personal experience with these next 2, but have read great things about them. For those of you who want a free option, Libby is an app that is essentially a digital library that gives you access to their selection of ebooks and audiobooks, allowing you the ability to borrow audiobooks like you would borrow a book from the library. All you need is a valid library card, which is usually free, so you can just stop by your local library and apply for one. Another app that really intrigued me is Scribd, which is essentially a Netflix-like service, but for ebooks and audiobooks, among other things. For just $12 a month, you have complete access to their large library for the monthly fee. I will mention that their selection is not quite as complete as Audible, but there are quite a few books there that I've been wanting to read, and maybe a cheaper option than buying the audiobooks outright. And bonus benefit, unless you listen to audiobooks on CDs or records, audiobooks can save you a lot of physical space, which is great for those who live in small apartments, or like me, just own too much stuff. Reason number 3, some books are just better listened to rather than read. Sometimes hearing the book read out loud gives you the ability to understand the emotion or feeling the author was trying to convey, more so than if you had just read it on a page. And some audiobooks even have added sound effects. I'm not going to lie to you, there are some books where the narrator or reader isn't the greatest, making it pretty tough to listen to sometimes, evidenced by the surprisingly brutal Audible comment section. But for many books, the experience is enhanced by being able to hear the author's voice or the professional reader. One thing I do want to mention, there are some books that are just completely inappropriate for audio. Things like textbooks or books that are highly technical or with a lot of big words. It is very difficult to focus when listening to those books, and some books I've just had to stop listening to and shelf for the time being until I can physically sit down and read the book. Anyways, whether you read a book or listen to an audiobook, I think the habit of reading and continuing to learn and grow, even when we're not in school, is so important. Now, there are times when you can go overboard and buy way too many books like I did, but for the most part, I think spending money on your education and personal growth is a smart use of our limited time and money. And while I'll admit you can't learn everything from a book, books give you a way to learn new perspectives and ideas that you wouldn't be able to learn from day-to-day life. I can't remember which author said this, but many books normally take about 1 to 2 years to research and write. So for every book you read, you get at least an extra year of life experience and an opportunity to learn from some of the most intelligent and wise people in the world. And many books draw from not just a year or two of experiences, but often many years of research or even a lifetime's worth of experiences. And we have access to that sitting right there in your pocket, or if you're watching this video on a phone, right there in your hand. Anyways, those were my top 3 reasons to start listening to audiobooks, plus a little bonus there at the end. I hope you guys got some value and enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments below your thoughts. I love to hear from y'all and any books you would like me to talk about in future videos. Thank you guys again for watching. I will see y'all in the next one.